Hello, everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to the 21st race of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the LifeLock.com 400 at Michigan International Speedway as we're getting set for 30 laps of racing here at this 2-mile track. But before we get into everything, here's a recap of the point standings after after our last race at Dover. Yeah, it was Dover. Matt McIntyre took the points lead over and leads by 6 points over Caleb Kilburn. The top 5 in the point standings got a big shakeup after some circumstances that went down at Dover, and as you're seeing the starting lineup for the race, Rob Evans is on the pole for today with Zachary Fitzwater starting right next to him. And with that being said, let's get the command to fire engines for the LifeLock.com 400 at Michigan.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers rolling on the racetrack for their one pace lap. So yeah, Michigan, it's been a little while since we've been to a track similar to this, considering the fact that, to my knowledge, I'm not sure if we're going to California Speedway this season or not, but regardless, Michigan's a very hot, very fast racetrack, and considering the lap times that I see these drivers do in qualifying, around mid 35-second lap times, tells me that this is going to be a really, really fast race, to say the very least. But regardless, rest of the top 10, as I notice in the starting lineup, Dylan Young and Hannah Klein make up row 2. Row 3, Alyssa Drayson and former points leader Jesse Turner. Row 4, Charles Sandford, Cole Baker. Row 5, Cody Lamas and Cole Deaver. So that is how I see the top 10 on track right now. I thought there was a car missing in the back, but I guess they just weren't quite bunched up back in the very back of the field, it looked like. So we'll see what happens. Pace car pulling into pit road as we're coming off of turn 4 to get this race underway. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. It's time to boogity 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 go racing. Zachary Fitzwater led the first lap and actually used the outside line to his advantage to pass Rob Evans for position. And it looks like the tables turn as Hannah Klein actually took the lead by using the outside. So it seems as though the outside line gets the better run off of turn 2. Turn 4, it looks like, as I'm going to helicopter view, yeah, the outside gets the run, so you want to be running on the outside line at this racetrack, depending on who all you have behind you in a draft formation on straightaways. Because there is plenty of off-throttle time at this racetrack. They go into the corner at about nearly 210 miles an hour, and they come And that's how they enter. And then in the center, they can go as low as 178. But Hannah Klein took the race lead the previous lap and will lead multiple laps now, as she has led 2 in a row. Side by side for second between Rob Evans and Zachary Fitzwater, and Rob Evans trying. It's strange, with Rob Evans, he is the defending series champion, but he has yet to win a race in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, which is quite interesting to say the very least. Like I said, he is the defending series champion, but has yet to go to victory lane in his Marvel Studios Cup Series career. That time by, looked like the bottom lane got a bigger run, as they were 3 wide. It was with Jesse Turner on the outside and Dylan Young on the bottom with Rob Evans in the middle. And it looked like the bottom actually got a bit of a run going, so it seems like now once tires start to warm up, and also depending on how many people you have behind you, you might be able to get the bottom lane to work. Zachary Fitzwater, who is still been the driver with the most wins this season at 3. He's still trying to get back into a bit of a rebound after the All-Star race. For a little while he had been faltering little by little and definitely fell a few spots in points after Dover, down to 10th, but he's looking to try and get his 4th win this season, as they're 3 wide for the lead, but Hannah Klein, just very strong on the outside, is going to keep the spot. Seems like nobody's going to be able to pass the leader unless you can get a run going on the outside line, because that seems to be the preferred line you want to be running. Although this time by, off of turn 4, the bottom got a big run. So yeah, I was just saying before I jinxed it a little bit, it seemed as though as tires start to warm up, the bottom starts kicking in a little bit more, but still not quite as good as the outside line, especially off of turn 2, as you just saw right there, Jesse Turner completing the pass on Dylan Young, and actually he's going to go for a crossover move, trying to move to the bottom underneath of Zachary Fitzwater, but just to no avail right now. As I keep going to helicopter view to kind of get the idea of how these lanes are going between the bottom and the top, and even the middle whenever they do get 3 wide, as I see 3 wide with Kyle Matthews, Cole Baker, and Rob Evans. And again, the outside line is where you want to be, it seems, as Rob Evans was able to pass 2 people in that one fell swoop. Back up at the front, we actually got a battle for the lead. Charles Sanford using the bottom, actually, to try and make the pass, and he actually does lead that lap. But can he clear Hannah Klein off of turn 2? We're about to see, with no draft help, which lane comes out on top, and it looks like the bottom actually does come out on top a little bit. But now Hannah Klein trying to go to the bottom herself to go for a crossover move to get the lead back. Let's see how it goes off of turn 4. Let's watch helicopter view one more time just to see how it all plays out. And the bottom's keeping up, although the outside line able to carry that little extra speed. Still making it side by side. But the bottom is seemingly starting to kick in a little bit, at least whenever you're by yourself and nobody in a draft behind you. Although that time, it looked like Hannah Klein got a little bit loose in the center of the corner and slid up, and that helped for Charles Sanford to keep the spot. But we got some new contenders. Melissa Alexander, who has already been to victory lane twice this season, and she's been gradually working her way up in the point standings, as actually now we got the top 4 close together. I don't know how this came about, but Melissa Alexander and Dylan Young have entered into this battle for the race lead. But keep in mind, we are getting closer to the halfway point of the race, and you gotta wonder about pit stops. But I feel like if this race does go clean and green the rest of the way, and they make it past halfway without pitting, then they should be good to go on gas whenever they do eventually have to come to pit road. Side by side for second as Melissa Alexander's trying to clear Hannah Klein, and does have a little bit of a slipstream just a couple car lengths back to Dylan Young, but Melissa Alexander trying to get up to the front, and if I recall, I believe she did start somewhere in the top 10, or outside. No, she actually started outside of the top 10, and is trying to work her way up to second. But Charles Sanford, who has not been to victory lane since winning the Daytona 500 and has kind of been falling apart in the point standings really ever since, looking to try and get his second win this season to conclude a perhaps temporary leave from the Marvel Studios Cup Series. But while we're at it, let's actually try and do a full field rundown as best as we can. Charles Sanford is the race leader. Second is Hannah Klein. Third, Melissa Alexander. Fourth, Dylan Young. Fifth is Kyle Matthews. Sixth is Jesse Turner. Seventh, Zachary Fitzwater. Eighth, Rob Evans. Ninth, Joshua Sekuli. Or actually now 10th, Joshua Sekuli. And 9th, Cody Lamas. 11th, Alyssa Drayson. 12th, Henry Sanford. 13th, Cole Baker. 14th, Jonathan Zorline. 15th is Jay Jefferson. 16th, DJ Curtis. 17th is Cole Deaver. 18th, Seth Cole. 19th, James Shelley. 20th, Ryan Acosta. 21st, Clint Spillman. 22nd, Matt McIntyre. 23rd, Benjamin Miles. 24th, Chris Dollarton. 25th, Jessica Shelton. 26th now is Zach Rogers. 28th, Rafael Leduc. 29th, Julia Katrine. 30th, Michael Norman. 31st, Jake Rogers, I think. No, 30th, and then 31st is Joey Parkhill. As I messed that up right there. 31st, Joey Parkhill. 32nd, or might be 33rd, I don't know. It's kind of difficult to do this when they're all in a pack right here, but James Qualls. Then Johnny Gardner. I believe I said Jordan Forbes. If not, I'm sorry. Then Ricky Carmen, Carson Gum, Artur Castanha, Raphael Fireblade, Caleb Kilburn, and Dylan Jacobs. Dylan Jacobs, who moved up quite a bit in the point standings over the past couple of races, up to third. Actually not having a good day as he's back in dead last, and that's not going to be good. Even Caleb Kilburn's in the back right now, bottom 5, and if they were to finish bottom 5, they wouldn't get points. And that would really shake up the point standings quite a bit, but seems like the top 6 or so are kind of spread out, and then from 7th on back, it's a little more crowded almost. I don't know if that would be the best word to say, perhaps, but nonetheless, Charles Sanford still leading the race and continues to pull away as he's now over a second ahead of Melissa Alexander, but you gotta wonder how much longer this can go on for, considering pit stops should be happening at any moment, and also not to mention lap times are starting to get slower and slower for these drivers. And Melissa Alexander actually closed in to the race lead in half, because Sanford, he's really having issues being slick on the racetrack, which this could really benefit Melissa Alexander, as here she comes with a full head of steam, but can she make a pass before they would end up having to come to pit road and perhaps get an advantage when it comes time for pit stops and getting back out on the track. But now Melissa decides to go low, battle on for the lead as Melissa Alexander goes to the bottom to try and take the top spot away from Sanford, Charles Sanford. Yeah, Charles Sanford is really, really slow on track, even though he's trying to fight the 28 to keep the spot by running the outside, but actually ends up letting her go, which is a smart move to conserve a little bit. And Melissa Alexander now leads here at Michigan. Charles Sanford now tucked in line behind, although now the pit stops begin. Hannah Klein was the first to pull in. And we actually side by side between Melissa and Sanford. It seems like Sanford might have found a little something, but look at that run the 28 had. And Charles actually slowed down so much in the center of 1 and 2, giving the lead back to the 28. But these drivers should be coming in at any moment, and I see Melissa slowing down quite a bit. And here she comes. Same with Charles. Let's see who else is coming in. Looks like everybody else is coming in along with the leader. So yeah, so 2 separate groups came in the pit road, and the first one out of the first group was Hannah Klein. Let's try and go to pit lane 1 to find where in the world is the leaders, as everybody's coming into their stalls. And it looks like Charles Sanford's going to be the first out of pit road, and it seemed like Melissa Alexander, or no, that was Cody Lamas. Cody Lamas got out ahead. I don't know if he, or I don't know, he might have been a driver that came in from the other group of cars. I'm not sure. I don't know, he might possibly be the new leader now, as I'm looking around the field to see how everybody is. So Cody Lamas could potentially be the leader. That is if everything is correct, and we're going to find out coming across the line, although according to scoring, Cody Lamas is last. I don't know. We're going to find out how it's all going to look as Cody Lamas is getting ready to come across the line. No, he's tail end of the lead lap, so Melissa Alexander has the race lead all to herself now. And so now the full field rundown as it stands, it's Melissa Alexander in the race lead. Second, Charles Sanford. Third, Hannah Klein. Fourth, Kyle Matthews. Kyle trying to get his first top 5 finish of the season. Fifth is our winner from Dover, Joshua Sekuli. Sixth is Dylan Young. Seventh is Rob Evans, and then a cluster battling for 8th, but Jonathan Zorling has the spot for now. 9th, Alyssa Drayson. 10th, Jay Jefferson. 11th, Jesse Turner. 12th, Zach Rogers. 13th, DJ Curtis. 14th, Cole Baker. 15th, Zachary Fitzwater. 16th, Carson Gums. 17th, Julia Katrine. 18th, Henry Sanford. 19th, Clint Spillman. 20th, Chris Dollarton. 21st, Jordan Forbes. 22nd, Matt McIntyre. 23rd, James Shelley. 24th, Jessica Sheldon. 25th, Rafael LeDuc. 26th is Cole Deaver. 27th, Dylan Jacobs. 28th, Ryan Acosta. 29th, Michael Norman. 30th, Caleb Kilburn. 31st, Jake Rogers. 32nd, Benjamin Miles. 33rd, Ricky Carman. 34th, Joey Parkhill. 35th, Raphael Fireblade. 36th is Seth Cole. 37th, Johnny Gardner. 38th, James Qualls. 39th, Artur Castanhan. Then dead last right now is Cody Lamas, as we're approaching 6 laps to go here at Michigan. And Melissa Alexander continues to gradually pull away from second place, who is now Hannah Klein, who led early on. I don't know if she'll have anything for the 28 or not. Lap time difference. Hannah did gain a couple tenths of a second that last lap, but I just don't know. Unless Melissa really starts sliding all over the place or getting tight in corners, I don't know if Hannah Klein or even Charles Sanford or Joshua Sekuli would have enough time to get to the 28. It's a long shot, but we'll see how it all plays out as we're coming to 5 laps to go in the LifeLock.com 400. Margin now actually grew a little bit, so Melissa Alexander actually maybe figured out what was her issue on the previous lap and is actually starting to hit her stride again. quite a few rookies I noticed in the scoring on the scoring pylon being in the top 10. Hannah Klein, Alyssa Drayson, and Jessie Turner, to be exact. So quite a few rookies having some strong runs going here at Michigan, as Melissa now to over a 2-second lead over second place, which in that fact, we had a battle going on for second. Joshua Sekuli tried to run the bottom underneath Hannah Klein, but just could not make the move stick. Melissa Alexander just a few laps away from tying Zachary Fitzwater in most wins this season. Because remember, Zachary Fitzwater has 3 wins, Melissa currently at 2, less than 3 laps to go, and all she has to do is just stay on the racetrack, and she's got the victory. As she actually pulled away a little bit more that previous lap because Hannah Klein's trying to hold off Joshua Sekuli, and Sekuli trying to follow up that win at Dover this past week with another solid top 5 run in what could be his farewell season in the Marvel Studios Cup Series. Coming to 2 laps to go. Let's see how the margin looks now. Almost the same, although only by a little bit. And Joshua Sekuli trying to clear Hannah Klein to get up to second, but again, that outside lane carrying a little bit more speed off of corner exit helps for Hannah Klein to keep the spot for now. And this is exactly what Melissa Alexander is loving behind her in the mirror, to watch them battle it out as she continues to pull away and more than likely will go to victory lane for the 3rd time. White flag is out here at Michigan. Although the margin actually closed up a little bit, I just don't think it's going to be enough. Down the backstretch, going into turn 3 for the final time. And now getting ready to come off of turn 4. Looks like nothing's going to change this. Coming off of turn 4 for the final time here at Michigan. Checkered flag waving, 3rd win of the season. Melissa Alexander wins the LifeLock.com 400 at Michigan. Started outside of the top 10, gradually worked her way up through the field. Managed to pass Charles Sanford and beat him out on pit road and pull away with the W. Great job by that 28 team. And I thought I heard cars hitting each other. I thought there was a wreck after the race. But let's look at the rest of the results. Hannah Klein, who dominated the first portion of the race, she still gets a great run in the 2nd position. Joshua Sekuli following up that win at Dover with a 3rd place run here at Michigan. Charles Sanford, who I think led the most laps in the race, winds up finishing 4th. And then Jay Jefferson continuing his great season, finishing in the 5th position. Kyle Matthews was so close to getting his first top 5 of the season, but gets, I believe that's his 2nd straight top 10 finish, so he's starting to hit his stride a little bit. Alyssa Drayson with a solid performance in 7th. Jonathan Zorling, great run in 8th. Dylan Young, much needed run in 9th. And then Jessie Turner, after losing the points lead at Dover, might get close to getting it back as he finished in 10th. Then there is your top 20, your top 30, and then the rest of the field. And the bottom 5 for this week was Johnny Gardner, Seth Cole, James Qualls, Artur Castanha, and Cody Lamas. So they will not be given points as you're watching Melissa Alexander's victory burnout to celebrate her 3rd win this season. Next race, we go to a first. We go to Twin Ring Motegi. We're going to a strange track, but until then, here are your results. Rookie points and regular points heading into Twin Ring Motegi. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.